May's compensation was at the right level. She was around $250,000 to $300,000 a year. And I had another member of the CO Alliance who was making 90. I'm like, really? 90 grand and you're the COO? And we realized she wasn't really the COO. She was really more of a general manager. So I want you to think about for a second, what are you paying and what should the appropriate title be to match that compensation? Because you could be a general manager, a director of operations, a VP of operations, or a COO, but you're still the second in command. But the bigger your title that you give someone, the more inflated sense of ego they have, the more inflated sense of expectations they have, and the more kind of ideas of what they should get paid. And that's all inflation that happens because you don't really care about titles. And we've gotten really, really sloppy with titles in the last 20 years. 20 years ago, to have a COO title, you had to be a major player at a major company. To have a CMO title, who here has a CMO? Who's got a chief marketing officer? How many employees do you have? No employees, subcontractors, and you have a CMO, right? Subcontractor, right. Who here has a CFO? How many employees have you got? 25 employees with a CFO. So think about something. Is it really a director of finance, a VP of finance, a controller, or a CFO? Because again, 20 years ago to have a CFO title, you had to be a major player to a major business, right? Now we've all of a sudden, in the last 3 years, what's the new C-level title that's magically appeared? Where the fuck did that come from? You know where Chief Revenue Officer came from? It came from guys like you, the head of sales, who didn't have a C-level to match their CMO, CFO, COO people, so we gave you a title and called it Chief Revenue Officer. That's all it is. There's never been a Chief Revenue Officer title in the history of ever until you guys finally were the odd one out, so we gave you one. And it caused inflation in our salaries across our company. Be very careful with the titles that you give out and the compensation level you give out. But you do need a second in command.